Hello, everybody. Okay, it seems that it's working. So once more, hello. We will just wait a little more for the students who are arriving a bit late. So we will start the webinar in a few minutes. Maybe in the meantime, we have again a set of questions. I'll introduce it a little bit later, but who was at the webinar last week already knows how does it work. So I will just broadcast here a little note so the people who will join later will know that we are waiting for the later students, and here is already a link for a set of 3 simple questions that we would like to ask you just to get an idea how actual is the topic that we are going to talk about today. So feel free to already fill it. Again, I'll talk about it once we start the webinar, so there will be a little more time actually later in the webinar to complete the questionnaire, but just for the people who will join gradually the webinar, so they know that we are waiting for the later students. I'll just wait 3, 4, maybe 5 more minutes until 6:05 to start with the talk. Okay, so I think that we can slowly start. Maybe some students will still join, but anyway, let's not make it too long, the webinar. So, welcome to this second webinar within the UNIGOU remote program. The topic of today's talks will be communication and cooperation in multicultural environment. Sorry. The webinar will be approximately 1 hour long, so please count with that. We will be finishing at 7 p.m. Of Prague time, which should be around 3 p.m. of Brazilian time. So before we start, we have prepared a set of 3 simple questions just to ask you out of curiosity to demonstrate how the topic that we will be covering today in this webinar are actual for you. You can access the questionnaire quite easy. It is at the Google form. Either you can scan this QR code here on the left side of my face, or you can access it in your browser via the link. The link is also under the video, so just click on it and please fill the questionnaire if you wish. And I will give you, I don't know, 2 minutes maybe, because I think most of you has already filled the questionnaire, so just a little more time to complete the questions, and then we can have a look at it and just see the statistics of the answers. So let's give it a little more time, maybe 7:07 or something like that, 2-3 minutes, and then we will continue with the webinar. Okay, so I think that most of you has already filled. So let's check the results. Let me try to share the screen. Should be okay. Seems to be working. So we have 32 responses at this point. Let's check what are your answers. The questions were really simple, so I think there is nothing much to discuss about them. Anyway, it's quite interesting to see. So have you ever experienced a culture shock situation? So almost 70% of you have experienced something like this. Well, it's not surprising me from my point of view. Usually when I talk with people just over the borders, quite similar cultures, Germans, Austrians, French, it is quite often very surprising that they do think differently, that they have a very different culture, that they have a very different customs. So just within the Europe, it's quite easy to get shocked. Not even talking about crossing the ocean or going somewhere farther to some more distant or culturally distant countries, then the culture shock situations are sometimes uh, quite 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 big, I would say. So almost 70% of you have experienced a culture shock situation. So I believe that this webinar will be interesting for you to see also the in view of other people. So have you felt especially proud of your own culture? 85% of you have. That is great. I think it's very important to be proud of the culture where you live, where you grew up. So that's amazing. I personally believe that Brazilian culture is amazing. You are very nice and friendly people, and also the culturally speaking, it is really interesting and it's very nice. So I'm not surprised that you feel proud of it. Have you ever felt especially embarrassed of your own culture? Against around 65% have. Yeah, it is not surprising. Sometimes I'm myself personally embarrassed of the Czech culture. I think that happens from time to time. That it's nothing very surprising. but still I believe that this demonstrates that the topic that we are going to cover today is actual and it has some relevancy for all of you. Okay, so let's get to the webinar. Thank you very much for filling the questionnaire. It's very nice to see, to get some in view. And at this point, I think we can start with the first contribution to the webinar. We have invited Mr. Miloš Sklenka, who is the Consul General of Czech Republic in Sao Paulo at the present point. He's a person who has a vast experience with working in international and multicultural environment. Quite a lot of experience with international relations. Mr. Sklenka, before he started to be the Consul General in Sao Paulo, he was an ambassador of the Czech Republic in Colombia, in Panama, and Costa Rica. Before he was counselor and head of economic office at the Czech embassy in Seoul, in South Korea. He was also deputy chief of mission and head of economic and commercial office at the Czech embassy in Santiago de Chile, and yet another post before he was a head of economic and commercial office at the Czech embassy in Washington, D.C. And before he actually started to work for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, he acted as a foreign correspondent in Spain for the Czech press. So I believe that he has a lot of stories to tell, a lot of insight in this topic, and I'm personally looking forward to hear it. Mr. Sklenka prepared his contribution in advance, so we have a video from him, which I will broadcast here. It's quite a lot of information, so let's have a see what Mr. Sklenka has to tell us.
Have a nice day to everyone who participates in this webinar called Cooperation and Communication in a Multicultural Environment. My name is Miloš Sklenka and I currently work as the head of the Czech Consulate General in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And I record my webinar presentation precisely from the garden of our diplomatic mission here in Sao Paulo, and I'm not inside in my office because of a small reconstruction of the building. I've been working here for 2 years, and before that I served as ambassador of the Czech Republic in Colombia, Panama, and Costa Rica in 2015, 2019, and in the past I have also worked at Czech embassies in the United States, South Korea, and Chile, for example. And before my diplomatic career, I worked as a journalist and foreign correspondent at the Hospodářské noviny Daily and Czechoslovak Press Agency. So this is my short introduction, and having said that, I would like to add that I have been given 5 topics for my webinar's presentation, so I will try to address them using my working experience abroad as an international journalist and diplomat, as both this profession has in common, among other things, that a person moves in a multicultural environment where communication in particular plays a very important role. Now I will start with the first one, which is what were the most challenging culture shock situation that I had to deal with. So probably the first culture shock for me was when I started studying at the university, in particular at Kiev State University in the former Soviet Union, today independent Ukraine. It was at the Faculty of International Relations and International Law. There were only 28 students in all our grade, and in total there were students for 14 countries. For your better idea, I'm talking about the year 1983, 1988. For a person like me, a young student from socialist Czechoslovakia, who had previously been abroad only twice, firstly by the sea in Romanian resort Mangalia, and second time in East Berlin in the German Democratic Republic. It was truly culture and linguistic shock. To use some verbal comparison, like when you enter into the unknown and dark area. So I remember that after arriving in Kiev, the Russian language became the only means for communication for us. Not only communicating at the university, be able to talk with our classmates, but also communicating with local people. And after some time, when we managed to learn other languages, started gradually communicating in other languages, in particular English, Spanish, and French, which were predominating between foreign students there. By the way, each of us was assigned by the Czechoslovak Ministry of Education 2 foreign languages for studying. I personally was given the task of studying German and Spanish. And I have to recognize that it was, in fact, thanks to a better knowledge of other languages that we began to better understand the other cultures and customs of our foreign classmates. Because in the beginning, it wasn't easy to live together at all, as we came from a very different cultural and linguistic background, and a coexistence in one place was often very problematic. By this I mean, for example, noise, tidiness, cleaning, and so on in our student residence where we live all together. Moreover, you have to understand that Czechoslovakia at the time was a very closed country, as were other socialist states, and we had little experience with foreigners. I mean, people like me, who until then lived in a small town in Moravia and not in Prague. So it was definitely for me the most challenging cultural shock situation that I have had to deal with in my career, and in general, I think in all my life. The second question concerns some peculiar situations during my professional career, and where different cultural backgrounds played an important role. Here I must definitely mention my working stay in South Korea. Since I was moving to South Korean Seoul from Latin America, it meant for me and my family to completely adapt to a different culture environment. South Korean business etiquette is a little bit complicated, and without the right knowledge is perilous, and any working meeting is full of danger and risk situations. In Korea in general, in all Korean culture, there are still very evident Confucian's values. Koreans hold respect for values as authority, for harmony and collectivity, for working hard, modesty and reputation, or saving and maintaining face, or gibbon in Korean. These are treasured values for them and integrated practically in all areas of life. If I were to mention some peculiar situations, I remember a meeting with chairman of Samsung conglomerate or Chaebol. An unpleasant situation arose when one of the members of our delegation didn't show sufficient respect for his business partner, respecting another's position in the hierarchy, especially if it's perceived as higher than your own, is very important in South Korea. And local business etiquette dictates that you give due respect to a senior person. This is also a big reason why, for example, drinking alcohol is so important for business relationships. Koreans tend to do this as an excuse to drop some of that formality to become closer with their business partners. Other examples of peculiar situations have arisen, for example, when greetings during the handshake, the person bows slightly, and if a person is in a lower position, shake with both hands or support their other hand at the forearm, or place the hand across their belly. These actions show a greater degree of respect and deference. And it's not unusual for Korean women to offer a bow instead handshake. For formal and business situations, it's considered more appropriate for Korean women to maintain a certain distance from men. It also happened that the Czech partners didn't have business cards during the negotiations in Seoul. You know, in Korea, it's very important that you should go into your initial meetings with your business cards ready to be given to the person you are or you have a meeting. And when presenting and receiving business cards from someone else, you should use both hands and spend about 20-30 seconds to look it over and read it. Read it carefully, even if you are meeting several people. So each Korean will wait their turn, and he will appreciate the short time you will take to give attention to his card on your hand. It's also important to know that Koreans' work title and position is a source of great pride. So it's very helpful if a foreigner recognize this fact. Generally speaking, meetings in South Korea are often scheduled in the mid-morning or mid-afternoon without cutting into anyone's lunchtime. When showing up, one should be punctual. Koreans value to be really on time or a little early, and that you have prepared a small tasteful gift because gift giving is a nice gesture and Koreans will often appreciate it. And as a last example, I would like to mention as a very unpleasant situation that occurred during my negotiations accompanying Czech delegation in Korea. It was with the top representatives of Korean Air when one of the members of our group began to ask questions about North Korea. It's doubly important to avoid discussing sensitive topics with Koreans, issues related in particular to North Korea, Korean associates family, or politics in general is in Korea inadmissible. So the third question or topic is about the biggest mistakes that people make moving in multicultural environment, and the strongest means we can use to connect with people. Responding this, I would like to start with the question, what does mean a multicultural environment? If we proceed from an assumption that multicultural environment is an environment where people who come from different countries with different backgrounds, with different cultures, and even speak different languages coexist, then we conclude that an multicultural environment has been known for mankind since ancient time. Looking back to the history, we can see that it has already appeared in antiquity, late antiquity, in particular in large cities with a large number of immigrants who communicated Greek and later Latin, and the cities were divided into different neighborhoods, often according to the culture or religion of their inhabitants. And for example, in the historic city of Jerusalem, this division has been preserved to this day, at least in the names of the districts. Today's multiculturalism describes the manner in which a given society deals with cultural diversity. As we all know, in today's global world, there are supporters and opponents of multiculturalism. And while acknowledging that it's a very serious and sensitive social political issue, I will not delve into this problem anymore, and I will focus only on the aspects of communication in multicultural environment and mistakes that people can make if they do not respect cultural and linguistic differences, where incorrect communication can cause many problems, many serious problems. So, what would I like personally recommend to people to avoid big mistakes? First of all, I would recommend following the old proven rules of our wise ancestors. Specifically in communication, it's about to apply the communication golden rule, perhaps best way formulated by the Greek philosopher Plato. This wise man already said, wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something. Saying that, from my long diplomatic experience, I can confirm that in practice these words are still very valid, and they will certainly be valid also in the future. In this context, I would like to recall my student years, and in particular my professor Alexander Volkov, who taught us the subject called History of Diplomacy and the Art of Communication. Professor Volkov was old and wise man, at the time very experienced and retired Soviet diplomat who worked for the more than 15 years for then Soviet permanent mission at the UN in New York before starting teaching at the university. And speaking about the art of communication in multicultural environment, he used to refer to the famous recommendation made by Charles Morris, the Talleyrand Perigord, probably the best known and the most successful statesman and diplomat of the French Revolution and the Napoleonic War. His recommendation to diplomats were, above all, don't talk too much. Very simple and very valid. And speaking of the quotes, I would like to add two more um, one that reads, "The more you know, the less you need to say." The author of these words is Jim Rohn, an American entrepreneur and motivational speaker, and an old English proverb that reads, "To talk without thinking, it's like to shoot without aiming." Uh, the next fourth question concerns how do I perceive the cooperation with Brazilians, and if I have noticed any particularities when compared to other nations or nationalities that I have dealt with. First of all, I would like to say that the cooperation between the Czech Republic and Brazil is a very high level. We have recently celebrated 100 years since the establishment of diplomatic relations between the Czech Republic and Brazil. And for this anniversary, we prepared a book at our Consulate General in Sao Paulo entitled "In the Footsteps of Czech Travelers Discovering Brazil." A book has gained a very, very positive critique, and we are very proud of this work. Here I can show a cover of the book. In Portuguese is "Na trilha dos viajantes tchecos." This bilingual publication, Czech and Portuguese, offers an insight into the history of our rich relationships and present the profile of 15 Czech travelers and explorers who have dedicated an important part of their lives, personal and professional lives, to discovering Brazil. I highly recommend reading this book to anyone who really is interested in Czech-Brazilian relations and history. I'm sure that while reading this book, one realizes how distinct and unique is Brazil and Brazilian culture. I would say that an eclectic blend of the old and the new, combined with the perfect mix of race and ethnicities, created during a short history since the discovering of Brazil in 1500 by credited Portuguese nobleman, navigator and explorer Pedro Alvarez Cabral, a unique, a fascinating diversity that gives this country an extraordinary charm and welcoming atmosphere. And to fully appreciate all that Brazil has to offer, it's important to understand the special qualities of this land and people. Even given the fact that the country enjoys a very diverse economy, and there are huge social economic disparities in Brazil, and huge difference between poor, less developed communities in the north and more prosperous and industrialized southern regions. What are the Brazilians like? First of all, it's necessary to point out the fact that Brazil is a nation of immigrants, an ethnically diverse land that has a heritage founded on Asian, African, European, Middle Eastern, and North American descent. By the way, more than 8,000 Czech immigrants live here. And I'm sure that centuries of intermarriage of all these nations have blurred ethnic lines and resulted in a unique culture that truly defines Brazil nowadays, and unique personal character of Brazilians. The culture of Brazil differs vastly from the westernized world, and it's very evident that the nature and personality of Brazilians really very differ. Generally speaking, all Brazilian people are very friendly and social. If you will speak with them, they will engage you in animated conversations, and especially they enjoy talking about soccer, family, children. They enjoy face-to-face contact. Men shake hands in greeting. Women greet each other with kisses on the both cheeks. On the other hand, Brazilians do not worry very much about punctuality. Also, they don't like to say no. They don't like to refuse. So my experience is that some promises need to be taken with a grain of salt. I think also that one of the most distinctive characteristics of the Brazilian people is their generosity. Despite poverty and difficult circumstances that many Brazilians have to face in their lives, they are very optimistic, having almost always a nice smile on their face. And the last particularity that I would like to mention is the fact that a family is a very center of their culture. From my experience here, I have perceived that relationships are more important than money or possessions for many Brazilians, although there are certainly exceptions. So here I would like to conclude this topic, because otherwise it would be possible to talk on for long hours. And I'm positive that I answered that question as best I can. So now I will move to the last topic that concerns what would be my advice to the next generation of young Brazilian professionals who will be actively working in an international environment. So if I were to recommend anything from my personal life's experience, it would certainly be a recommendation for young people to travel, to get to know, to invest in their professional development, and to learn foreign languages as much as possible. I'm sure that this will open up new horizons for them, give them a different and enriching view of the world, and for solving problems facing every day. And also it will offer them a better job opportunities at the market, where a competition, in particular for young people, is very tough nowadays. And my advice from my diplomatic experience, so I would recommend regarding communication in multicultural environment, try to be honest, but not brutally honest, to be tactful, to be communicative, to be able to listen with the aim to be able to understand. And I'm convinced that the skill centered around an understanding of other people and being sensitive to their opinions, to their beliefs, ideas and feelings, is the only way how to understand the problems of the world, of the current world, and search the solution. So concluding my presentation, I would like to thank very much for your attention, for your time. I hope I wasn't too long and boring, and perhaps I was able to enrich your knowledge. So see you, and sometimes next time.
I would like to thank very much Mr. Sklenka for his participation in this webinar and also for his contribution to it. I would like to thank very much Mr. Sklenka for his I would like to thank very much Mr. Sklenka for his contribution and participation in this webinar, and also for his very valuable insight in the world of professional diplomacy. Thank you very much once again. It was a big pleasure to have you here. Thank you. As a next guest, I would like to invite a representative of young Brazilian professionals who are maybe for the first time traveling outside of Brazil to join some international position, to join some international endeavors. We have here today with us Larisa Moravčíková-Gouvea. Larisa finished her doctorate studies here in the Czech Republic at the Brno University of Technology, and now she works as a young researcher at the same university. So I'm really sure that she will have very valuable stories, very valuable insight to tell us about the challenges, but also opportunities of working abroad, of cooperating in multicultural environment, and all the issues related with that. So please, Larisa, if you can.
Hello guys, my name is Larissa. I came to Brno, Czech Republic in 2016 with UNIGOU exchange program to Brno University of Technology, and it was a life-changing experience for me by all means. And I will share my experience with you today, just a bit at least. Well, I got selected to be in an amazing group. I was the only foreigner there at that moment. But it was not by any means any problem. So everyone from the group spoke English, and of course I did not speak Czech. and I bet this is the situation for most of you, at least on the beginning. Yeah, so even if someone did not speak English, they would try really hard to communicate with me. So really Czechs are really kind and helpful. Yeah, so they treated me like I was one of them, and we got along together very well. Yeah, by the end of my internship, I was invited to do a PhD with my supervisor on the same group as the UNIGOU put me on the exchange program. Yeah, so my supervisor invited me to do a PhD in materials engineering, and I actually accepted it, and I came back a few months later to start it. So I finished my PhD last year in 2021, and now I'm working in the university as a researcher on the same group. Yeah. So in fact, right now I am on my maternity leave because I just had a baby 4 months ago. So yeah, I have a family here. Yeah, and I think honestly, coming to Czech Republic was the most incredible decision I have made in my life. As I said before, it was a life-changing decision for me. So it opened so many doors for me, and now I have a family here. I work here as a researcher, which I love, and I couldn't be happier. Well, talking about challenges, I think the most challenging thing about living abroad is, especially here, is to learn the language. I have been learning Czech since 2016, and I can communicate well. I can express my feelings. I can say what I need, but I still struggle sometimes to say a few words. So yeah, so Czech is really, really hard to learn, but I think with time and with effort, you can do it. Yeah, so another thing, another big challenge is to live far away from your family and culture. Yeah, but I think with time you get used to it. And internet helps a lot, right? Because you can make video calls, you can talk all the time with your family. Yeah, and also in Czech Republic, there is a big Brazilian community. So yeah, if you miss your culture, miss speaking Portuguese, you can always meet with the Brazilians, and they're really fun. Yeah, so I guess that's it. I hope one day you have also the opportunity to come to this beautiful country in person, and maybe it will be also a life-changing experience for you too. Yeah, so I hope to see you. Ahoj, nasledanou.
Thank you very much, Larissa. It was very nice. Also, well, I would like to thank both our speakers. That was all today for the webinar. Also, I would like to thank all of you who are participating, who are watching this webinar. I hope you did like the content. I would like to invite you for the next week's webinar, which is going to happen on Tuesday this time, and you are going to receive an invitation again by email, probably tomorrow or on Monday. So please expect it. There will be more information about the webinar, and I'm looking forward to see you there. So at this point, let's conclude. Have a nice afternoon, have a nice weekend, and see you next week. Bye.